dear fellow Americans. Nah, no, I'm kidding. Hey guys, it's Garrett DMG here, back with a video. No, I'm genuinely concerned though about the average American. Like I really am. I'm seriously worried. And if you guys are wondering what I'm wearing, I'm actually wearing my company T-shirt that I opened up during last year, Frontline Movers. Ooh, almost knocked down my whole setup. But yeah, I used to, like during the span of last year, I tried to bring back me and my brother's company, our moving company, but it never fled. Because you know why? The economy was terrible. I don't even know why I did it. Last year I lost my jobs, and I had no way to pay the rent here. So I was like, alright, well maybe I'll open up my business again, and I'll try to do, Frontline Movers. That didn't work. Because the economy was just so terrible. We couldn't get work. We couldn't pay for advertisement. There was a lot we couldn't do. We couldn't even afford the overhead. To this day, I'm still in debt because I've tried to do so. And that's what I'm saying, guys. It's like the American dream is a jail cell. And is that the way it was supposed to be all along? I don't know. And like I'm genuinely concerned about Americans because they can't afford rent. Think about it. It takes landlords, your average landlords, they want you to make 3 times the amount that it pays to pay month to month. Which I understand because of the economy we're in. But it's just like, wow. We are getting beat to a pulp here. Okay? Landlords expect you to make 3 times the rent. Okay? Meanwhile, these jobs that are out here only pay $10 an hour, you might as well say. Because the minimum wage hasn't changed since 2008. Maybe even before that. I don't even know. Because the way the dollar amount has shrunk in the last couple of years because of inflation. This is what I'm talking about, guys. I'm genuinely concerned about this country. Because we do not have the economic power to continue. Let's say another pandemic hit. Alright? Our tax revenue has been screwed. Oh my god, it's been screwed. So if there's like along the lines of another virus or another pestilence, which has been prophesized in the Bible, I might add, we could be looking at a terrible, terrible, terrible time in this country, I'm telling you. And that's not even the tip of what's to happen. You know what I mean? And people will say, oh, it's always been like, it hasn't always been like this. It hasn't always been like this. Not this bad. Not this bad. Not even in 2020 has it been this bad. Okay? And just like, oh man, we are on a steady decline in this country. And it hurts me to say it because the amount of disgust is just too much, man. So yeah, apartments require you to make 3-4 times over the rent. And meanwhile, jobs are barely hiring. They're lying that they're hiring just so they can collect revenue. I don't know how it actually works, but I know that jobs make money based on their hiring numbers. I know that. I know it boosts certain economic standards within their parameters. So it makes sense on why these jobs are lying about hiring. They're not really hiring, you guys. Oh, there's so many jobs out there. They're hiring. They're not. You guys, they're not. I hate to break it to you, they're not hiring, and even if they were, they're not paying the livable wage. So we're literally being stepped on, okay? And it's terrible. It's terrible. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, we're planning trips to the moon. We're thinking about building towers on the moon. We're thinking about doing the unexplainable. You know, we're thinking about funding the unexplainable with money we don't necessarily have. I don't understand where's this money coming from. We're 40 trillion in debt for those who don't know. We are 40 trillion in debt. Okay? Meanwhile, the average American is broke, exhausted, and completely, deliberately discouraged. I mean, these jobs out here, are you kidding me? $15, $10 an hour? Are you kidding me? You know, then they wonder why nobody wants to work anymore. They're not working. Technically, we're working for free. You know, and I told a hiring manager this one time on my last job pursuit. She was like, "Oh, I don't know why nobody wants to work nowadays." Blah, blah. I said, "Well, the jobs aren't paying anymore. Have you seen this economy?" That's what I'm saying, man. I feel like people are so buried at work they don't know what's going on. I call it slavery amnesia. I'm gonna coin it. Slavery amnesia, where your head is buried in the sand like an ostrich, and you just can't see it. You must be living in some sort of reality here. The jobs aren't paying. There are no jobs around said jobs. It costs money to go to said jobs. You know what I mean? And to keep yourself fed and healthy while you're working. It costs said money to fill up gas tank. Gas that's diluted. Gas that's been ravaged to nearly nothing. You know what I mean? And we're filling our tanks up with it, not knowing what's inside of that. And we're going to work as if every day is the day-to-day life. Something has to be questioned here. The whole world has to halt and be like, whoa. Whoa. What are we doing? We're the blind leading the blind at this point. You know what I mean? And honestly, man, something's got to be done here. This system continues to fall. It continues to collapse. And we're just struggling at this point, you guys. There's no other way to really say it. You know, and at this point, it won't be long until the people who are considerably doing well on paper aren't doing well at all. And it's so obvious. Day by day, this country just declines. We lose more of our rights. We lose more of our liberties. We lose more of the paradigm that we've got in order to make an American dream even possible. You know what I mean? We have parents who are having kids who can barely see them, afford them, take care of them, nurture them. We need to raise a healthy society here. What are we doing? You know what I mean? We're not going to be able to raise the future if we keep going down this route. I can tell you that. You really think the future's in store for us when it comes down to this? I doubt it. I really doubt it, man. You know, you sit around, you talk about freedom, but in reality, you're being fed an illusion. A deliberate illusion that was set in place, put in stone for a specific amount of agendas, that's just going to lead us straight to the hellhole. You know what I mean? And the more that we see it, the more we got to call it out. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep seeing a bunch of warehouses being burned like last time, if you guys haven't heard. You know, workers are getting sick of it. They're genuinely getting sick of it. Meanwhile, there's top evictions going on, top house foreclosures, businesses closing down. Something's got to be done, guys. Something's got to be done. And I don't want to sound like a fearmonger. This is just what I'm genuinely looking at. Sorry, that's my TV back there. But it's going crazy, guys. This world ain't making any sense. The closer that we step off the rocker, the more that things aren't going to make sense. And we're just going to keep on declining. And I have no other outlet but to talk about it because I'm part of the working man. You know, I used to be a blue-collar worker for a good chunk of my workforce life so far. So far, I got nothing to show for it. I don't know if anybody else does. You know, but I used to have talents. I used to work maintenance. I used to do a lot of intuitive things, and I was learning, and I was developing, but it's not happening anymore, you know? And this is the world we're at nowadays, you know what I mean? And you gotta take it as it is. You can't dilute yourself with all this false narrative. Saying, oh, we live in a free country, bah, 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 bah. You know, you really gotta question everything now. Because we're at a standstill where you gotta. What else can you do at this point, you know what I mean? So that's the video, guys. Hopefully it gives you a little bit more of an understanding as to where everybody's situation's at. Nobody's really happy about it necessarily. Nobody really knows what to do. They're kind of just burying themselves in the sand, keeping themselves ignorant and blissful as possible in a world that's just undeveloped at this point and is arguably corrupt, depending on who you ask and who you talk to. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.